every single Wall Street forecast for 2026. Let me wrap it up for you. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, BlackRock, Citibank, the whole shebang. This is the consensus. Global growth 2.7 to 3.1%. They do expect the stock market to broaden out beyond just the largest Mag 7 stocks. They expect the smaller Russell 2000 to do well, partly because money flowing into those just for safety. Funds are thinking we can't be too concentrated. Secondly, because the spending from those big companies and the benefits of AI should see those companies have a trickle down and do better. There will be a tug of war between fiscal, in other words, tax and spend policy, and cutting rates. Taxation goes up, rates go down. That's a tug of war. Plus tariffs, which are tax, can also cause more of that friction. That'll lead to volatility. There is no clear direction on this, but at the moment, certainly in the US, it looks more spending, so looser fiscal policy and lower interest rates. Looser monetary policy, which is good for stocks in the near term, certainly for the next 12 months. There might be a price to pay for all that spending and loose money later on in the form of inflation for a start. They now see AI moving as infrastructure. This is a theme which keeps coming up. It is like the railroads being built. It's no longer hype. There are significant benefits and return on capital invested. Not everybody will get a positive return on capital invested, but there are quite a few. GDP forecasts all singularly positive. JP Morgan and Pictet described the pace as returning to trend-like levels of GDP growth. Caveats: Wells Fargo warns growth is unlikely to match 2025 levels, but central bank support puts a floor under the economy. Shouldn't fall back too much. That's all very, very positive news. What's the physical reality of the AI supercycle? Well, yes, there is AI infrastructure capital spending, but the labor market is tight. In other words, there's a lack of humans with the relevant skills. BlackRock say this: investment contribution to US growth is 3 times the historical average. This capital-intensive boost persists even as the labor market cools. That could be inflationary, but certainly for this year, it's good. Capital economics say this: the boost is centered on US capital expenditure and infrastructure needed to build the physical computing power. It's not necessarily uniform across the world. However, when Microsoft spend in the United Kingdom or in India, the billions they're planning, or Apple or whoever, it is being spread, but that wealth is concentrated amongst a few companies who are spending significant sums of money. The headwinds, well, tariffs and, of course, fragmentation in global politics and global economics. Citi say this: tariffs will put pressure and take a bite out of growth, but I think counter to that, tariffs are cost and they're non-financial burdens to trade because they could be regulatory. Okay. The problem is, whilst that might diminish growth, looser monetary policy will assist growth. So it's not too much of a worry at the moment. UniCredit say this: a baseline of geoeconomic friction is the new normal. It is, as long as we have MAGA in the White House. Lombard Odier put it this way: tariffs will dent corporate profits. So it's not all bright and breezy, but you need that in a stock market. You don't want it to be just uniformly in one direction. Fiscal stimulus from Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act will offset a lot of these stagflationary effects because it is tax lower, spend more effectively, even if he puts it in different terms. The US economy, exceptionalism under siege. Are Americans still leading? Well, US is set to outperform substantially, according to Goldman Sachs, due to tax cuts and deregulation. Bank of New York Mellon say US continues setting the tempo. Just the size of the economy and the amount of money that they're spending, a $30 trillion economy with the biggest multi-trillion-dollar companies in the world spending trillions, it's going to impact the rest of the world. They're going to set the pace. US stocks to outperform peers in a friendly policy environment is Morgan Stanley's view. Lazard, US exceptionalism may fade. In the longer term, US GDP decelerating whilst Euro Japan accelerates. But this is not a year where you necessarily need to worry about that too much. You might own a Japanese index fund, as I've put some family members into. You might own European securities, as other family members are in. Okay, anticipate convergence. Investors have incentives to reduce structural overweight in dollar assets. So there will be a convergence amongst the banks and amongst investors so that they're not just purely in dollar assets. They will also have others, and they're all thinking in similar ways as well. Now, the next step on this, inflation and the Fed, the new inflation regime. How do we look at this? Well, we've got rate cutting cycles that are reducing uncertainty and helping growth rebound. Fiscal initiatives like defense spending, reshoring, that's keeping inflation well above central bank targets, but not too high. Okay, so there are certain things which are causing higher inflation, but there are others which are reducing inflationary pressures as well, which is good news. We've got Goldilocks, not too high, not too hot, not too cold. Rational exuberance, falling rates, higher productivity, deregulation, higher equity prices. That's it in a nutshell. Okay, and you can see what some of the companies have said there. Schroders valuations are not yet egregious. Markets have further to go. There is some concern of a K-shaped market. This is the bear case, you might put it. JP Morgan said downside risks are elevated due to weak business sentiment. So it's not, we know the big companies are setting the tone, but there are worrying ones which are not keeping up because it's a competitive landscape. Capitalism has always been such. And there is a concern of slowing growth, higher inflation in certain corporate sectors. And that being the case, feeding into those companies. So not every company will do well. We'll try and stick to the ones which are doing well. The broadening should move from the Mag 7 to some of the global companies to smaller caps. Different banks are mentioning different sectors. Financials comes up a lot. I happen to own Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. Energy companies, industrials, healthcare, small caps, non-US, and real estate are all being mentioned by different Wall Street analysts. Fixed income, I don't want to go too much into all private markets because a lot of these analysts and banks are the wealth management parts, and so they'll give you access to private equity markets and private markets as well. If we take the global snapshot, regional dynamics, Europe lagging but stabilizing, China stabilizing, it's all positive, emerging Asia, an engine, Japan continued modest gains as well, and of course the US driving everything as well. So what are the outliers? Well, there's a bullish outlier in Goldman Sachs. They think substantial outperformance of US markets. And there's a bearish outlier in BCA research, predict clear and present danger of unemployment spiral and downgrades to stocks. Then you've got some of the skeptics like Apollo, stagflation, 3% inflation, fiscal blind run. They think could run out of money on the fiscal side in terms of the US government spending. Okay, so what are the key takeaways for your playbook for 2026? Well, have a look at campaignforamillion.com and alpeshpatel.com for a start. But stay invested but agile. It's not a case of you should be out. It's a question of just be monitoring all of this. Buckle up. There will be volatility. Don't panic. Especially you've got quality companies, which is what we put our clients into. So have a look at campaignforamillion.com or, as I say, alpeshpatel.com. You can diversify your return sources if you so wish. Warren Buffett hasn't. But those companies that you already own, if they're global in nature, that gives you diversification by itself. Otherwise, if you're looking at non-US, then obviously you've got Europe and Japan seem two obvious examples, and maybe some gold, 5% of your holdings as well. Some say the swing factor will be the labor market. For me, it's really if interest rates are indicated to stop rising. That's it. Then we've got a problem, but we don't have that at the moment. Here are some of the words, and I hope you found that useful. If you did, I want you to do me two favors. One, go to campaignforamillion.com. The link's in the bio. But two, please share this, comment on this, like it, follow it. The algorithm will send it to more people. I get more viewers. We'll make the effort to do more of these completely for free for you. Thank you very much.